Did you ever wish you could hit those shots more consistently? Well, guess what? You totally can. It's all about learning some key basics, and I'm here to help you out. I did some research, talked to good aimers, even an aim coach, and in this guide we're gonna break down the most common mistakes beginners make, and I'll show you how to fix them. Plus, most of these tips work for all shooter games, and also whether you're on controller or mouse and keyboard, so stay until the end. Death gripping and tension management. A lot of people that are new to Apex or never actively try to improve their aim struggle with having too much tension in their arm or hand without even noticing, and this will most likely mess up your whole accuracy. When it comes to holding your mouse, you should focus on keeping your mouse somewhat relaxed, so you don't choke it like it did something wrong. Death gripping your mouse is the #1 factor of inconsistent aim, so keep your arm relaxed and concentrate on consistency and smoothness. Prediction. In some scenarios, predicting your opponent's movement can be very helpful with tracking it, for example when there's a wall or other objects blocking the enemy. That gives you a perfect opportunity to predict their next movements. In this clip from Hollow, you can see him tracking a target that is hitting an object. Hollow knows that the target won't keep running into the wall. It will with almost 100% probability shift momentum in the other direction. This is something that good aimers subconsciously do that will, if you learn how to do it right, give you a big head start in mastering your aim. But prediction isn't always a good thing. Most players tend to predict their target's movement always and every time, and I can't stress enough how bad you have to break this habit. When there is no indicator of your target shifting momentum into a different direction, you're basically always flipping a coin when predicting. This will really mess with your consistency, which is why you have to stop doing it. Instead, you should start aiming in a way of reactive tracking. That means if your target changes direction, you do too, and only then. There are a few exceptions, for example reading the character's animations to identify direction changes, but this is quite complex and high skill, and I don't think you should focus on that if you're just starting out with aim improvements. And this already leads me to the third tip: smoothness. A misconception that even good players sometimes don't seem to fully understand is, if your target switches directions, you shouldn't try flicking back onto it as fast as you can. If you flick back with maximum speed, you're going to take the risk that the target might strafe back again before you expect it and mess up your whole track. Instead, whenever the target strafes into a different direction, you should try to smoothly move your crosshair back onto it, so you can react to whatever movement happens next. Also, head down to the comment section and let me know if you're already aim training, and if yes, how do you do it? And if this guide helped you, please consider liking and subscribing to not miss the next videos, because I have some bangers planned right now. Mouse grip. Mouse grip is such an overcomplicated topic. It's actually crazy. There isn't a specific grip that will instantly give you godly aim. It's just not like that. The way you grip your mouse is completely up to you. As long as you feel comfortable and you don't death grip it like mentioned in the first tip, you're totally fine. If you hold the mouse just how you naturally grab it, that's completely fine. Nobody has to reinvent the wheel here. Sensitivity. Sensitivity is something that is way too overcomplicated and misunderstood so often too. First, there is absolutely no problem with changing your sense once in a time, because something like muscle memory in aiming is just not a thing. If you want to know what I mean by that, go check my video about it. I linked it down in the video description too. Basically, you can play whatever sense feels comfortable to you, but it shouldn't be too high or too low. For Apex in specific, I asked my dear friend and ape coach Arxirolve what the optimal range of sense is, and he told me it's about 28 to 35 centimeters, which is around 1.4 to 1.8 in-game sense with 800 dpi. Speaking of Arxirolve, real quick, if you're looking to improve your aim, go check his socials, it's linked down below as well. I wouldn't go any higher or lower, because either you will lose control of smaller movements, or you can't turn quick enough if you have enemies outside of your FOV. I have found that most people, for example Fate or other creators, are also in this range. Where to look? There has always been the rumor that looking at your crosshair instead of your target will instantly make your aim consistent, and I can just say that is not the case. When trying to look at your crosshair instead of your target, you'll lose major time trying to react to the target's movement and adjust the crosshair's position. Instead, when looking at the target, your brain will automatically register your target's movement and adjust the crosshair's position through peripheral vision. Peripheral vision is the part of your vision that occurs outside the direct line of sight. Instead of focusing on one point, it allows you to detect movement, shapes and changes in your surroundings without turning your eyes or head. You might be thrown into some kind of tunnel vision, making you less aware of opponents' grenades, movements or flanking threats if you're only focusing on this one point on your screen the whole time. Hipfire. This is again kind of Apex specific, but can also be used in other FPS games. Of course, most of the time when shooting, you should be aiming down sights, right? But if your enemy is very close to you, it is often a very good idea to let go of that right click and just hipfire. The hipfire is still pretty strong on close range, even after the nerfs in Apex. I often see newer players keep aiming down sights even if the target is literally in their face, especially when having a 3x optic or higher. You shouldn't aim down sights in close range fights. Recoil smoothing. Apex has a special recoil system that allows you to completely remove the horizontal recoil from your gun when strafing to the left and right. Keep in mind though, only the horizontal recoil, not the vertical. This is basically used by every somewhat good player and it's super easy to learn. Me personally, I have never been a fan of learning recoil patterns for specific guns because for me it took away my main focus, the target, and made me focus more on the recoil, which is definitely not optimal. But this is my own opinion, so other people might have different takes on that. I have to say, I was completely fine without learning any recoil patterns from any gun. 1v1s. Whether it is you loading up R5 Reloaded or playing against your friends in the range, 1v1ing will most likely help you gain more consistency and experience in aiming. This can help you test new sensitivities, settings or playstyles and implement it into your actual games. Stay calm. I have found myself panic aiming almost every time I'm under pressure. This happens to probably all of us, in any game, but it is such a death sentence to our performance. When being under high pressure, whether it be an enemy team pushing you, a clutch situation, or when fighting the last team on an important rank match, staying calm is your best friend. If you watch pros, you will notice that even if they're in a dangerous or difficult situation, they will always stay calm, concentrated and focused. Of course they scream, making callouts and everything, but don't mistake that for panic. They are still fully focused on what is happening, which allows them to always keep their full potential. That is not only applicable to aiming, staying calm will always help in any aspect of the game. Yes, this tip is only for the PC players, but before you click away, hear me out. A lot of people think that aim training with trainers like kovaaks or aimlab is useless, but let me quickly sum up why it is 100% worth the time. Think about gaming like a sport. A sport has many aspects to be good at. For example, when being a volleyball player, you learn how to block, how to serve, how to set and so on. Now, aiming is the same. There are many aspects and categories to it, such as tracking, clicking, switching and a lot more. Aim trainers will not help you improve Apex aim in specific. They will help you build a fundamental kit of raw aim consisting of all the aspects to it that you will use in-game. With aim trainers, you can identify weaknesses, focus and improve them, and maybe understand the theory behind it so you can start aiming in the most optimal way possible. I don't want to talk about that too much here. I also have a video about aim training that is linked down below. So check it out if you don't know if you should start with it. And now, let's head over to my warm-up routine that I use before start playing ranked. Again, this is my personal one and it is just a warm-up. This does not replace proper aim training or practicing. So first, I load up kovaaks and play some scenarios, mostly in the tracking and switching categories, because those are my main big issues. I do this for about 10 to 15 minutes and after that I play some R5 Reloaded 1v1s to warm up my mechanics and fights. I continue with hopping in a range until I feel ready to play comp. This mostly takes another 10 minutes. And now that you know how to become an aim god, check this video where I got invited to a Burn Your OCE video to compete against other players and take a look at how I performed. Little spoiler, I got flamed in the comments.